The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I am your host and superior webhead master, Jarod Stubbs, and joining me, as always, is the one, the only, the inimitable, the resident Green Lantern, Professor Travis.
I have to wait for a second for the can crack because I just put lotion on my hands. They're dry. I tried. I was like, I think I can do it. I can't get my finger under the... Oh.
Ooh, that was a crisp one, too.
Slow. We'll get a better one later. I got two up here, so...
Hell yeah. There's a lot of news this week, and a lot of it, honestly, isn't just because we skipped news last week and did our Batman show. So yeah, we're gonna get this out of the way. Well, first, Travis, how are you, buddy?
I'm surprisingly awake. I feel good. Yeah, I'm ready to talk about all this very lighthearted, not serious news. There's not a single heavy topic. Not a single one at all this week. Nothing crazy happened.
Yeah, you know what? I turned 24 this past Friday, and the universe said, "You know what? We're going to give you." Thank you. And you know what the universe said? The universe said, "We're going to give you a rough episode of news this week." But before we jump into all that, word from our lovely sponsors at SundaysBloodyMary.com. SundaysBloodyMary.com/shop is your spot for the most badass Bloody Mary equipment on the planet. Spicy Season Mix, award winner, my drink of choice. They got the mild mix, the rim salt, the subscription box where you get 2 jars of Bloody Mary mix a month at a reduced rate. They got the vegan mix. They got the pickled garnishes and their okra, dilly beans, and asparagus. They got merch. They got shot glasses, rim salt, all kinds of stuff you can use to make the best Bloody Mary on the planet. I'm such a fan of their stuff. I got to order a new jar soon because if the next time I'm live, I'm probably going to burn through the last of it. So I got to order a new jar this week. So yeah, go to SundaysBloodyMary.com/shop. Use code TNAP, TNAP at checkout. You get 10% off your order and your favorite. You help out your favorite nerds while you do it. So we are going to get this shit out of the goddamn way. The Oscars were on Sunday.
Where nothing notable happened.
Where nothing happened at all. So, for those of you who are not aware, controversy at the Oscars started long before the telecast even began. We had the very, very controversial decision that the Oscars had made to cut a large segment of technical awards that I guess were just deemed too boring to air. These awards included stuff for makeup, sound design, score, which stunned me that didn't make the cut for some godforsaken reason. So yeah, a bunch of very important editing, which is ironic. That didn't make the cut. A lot of stuff that, any broadcast or movie or anything is incapable of existing without all of those things. And I think I like many others, think it was egregious. All of the cuts, basically. I mean, the show wasn't any shorter. The Oscars were still 3 fucking hours long.
So there was no
still.
point.
there was no point. It was still a 3-hour long broadcast. All they did was make room so that they could perform each of the songs nominated for Best Original Song. But even then, they had to skip the song for Belfast because things got jiggy. We'll get to that, I promise. So, yeah, a lot of stuff got cut, which was unfair. I think those awards deserve to be televised. I also think it was pretty neat that Dune won a lot of them. Not to say that Dune is some populist ha ha ha, like pushing back against the Academy type thing. But it's nice to see a movie that was, by all accounts, a blockbuster and one that was kind of geared for general audiences get award season love. Again, I have a complicated relationship with with award season and with the Oscars in particular. I enjoy, as a kid, I loved watching the ceremony. Um, and I think it's a good time. And I don't mind when the Oscars is a little bit, self-flagellating. My issue is the way that the Academy kind of sneers at most mainstream movies. Like, again, I'm not saying every single Marvel movie should get a Best Picture nomination, and I'm not saying that the Oscars should pivot to being more like a MTV Movie Awards type thing. I'm not saying that. But there are a lot of movies that don't get their fair shake, and it's because they're couched as being, dumb popcorn fun. And I think it's really awesome that Dune kicked the ass that it kicked. Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, Amy Schumer hosted. I'm not even saying this to do the almost old hat routine of talking shit about Amy Schumer. Not that it's difficult, but they absolutely could have cut Amy Schumer. I don't know why they went with 3 hosts, is my thing. I don't know why they went with 3 hosts. Like, that's just such a weird number. Like, a host and a co-host for an event like this makes sense. But like 3, you just kind of throw off the energy. And I don't get that decision at all. And I say that because I think Regina Hall and Wanda Sykes were superior entertainers. Again, it's not driven by the dislike of Amy Schumer. However, Schumer did have a couple good funny jokes. She had a couple good ones in there. Yeah, good for her. She probably stole them.
I remember.
I remember.
Yeah, she do. I remember the like a point in my life where I was like, nah, people just hate Amy Schumer because she's a woman. Like before the joke stealing thing, right?
Yeah.
I was like, people are just hating on her. She's a popular female comedian. Of course, everyone's gonna think she's terrible. And then I watched one of her specials because it happened to be on while I had Comedy Central on, and I was like, oh.
I don't mind Amy Schumer. Like, she's I literally don't give enough of a damn about her to dislike her.
Until as a person,
stealing thing happened.
Yeah, I don't care about her as a person. I don't think her stand-up's that funny, and not in the well, she's a woman. She doesn't know how to tell jokes. It didn't click with me. I was not laughing at her special. And granted, this was in 2016. So
yeah. Well, another thing that I thought was wild. teepup.com/Nerd Academy Student Store. Another thing I thought was buck wild was the way that so much. And again, you didn't see the Oscars. You were at work.
Yeah. Oh my. So,
which is another thing I thought was hilarious because normally your break room has shit like this on the TV.
So it did have the Oscars on. It's just that I was running around. Sunday was a very busy day for me because we didn't have a supervisor. Okay. So it was just one of those I might have been checking my phone occasionally for stuff. I didn't realize the Oscars were on until you texted me and about a different thing, not even the thing. The only thing in the broadcast I saw was the performance of We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Oh my God.
It's the only thing I saw of the entire night that as it happened.
So Dude, I don't know how they did worse than last year. I don't know how they fell further. Like last year was such a shit show. They had that really weird thing where they like rolled the dice with Chadwick and his posthumous Oscar. And I was like, wow, you cannot do worse than this clusterfuck. And they did it. They did it. I'm almost impressed. I was blown away. I told Taylor, I told my girlfriend, I was like, you know what? I really hope this year I don't have to dedicate almost half of an episode talking about how bad the fucking Oscars were. You know, because I've gone back and re-listened to last year's like post-Oscar episode, and just listen to me just talk and get like progressively angrier while I'm speaking. This whole show was a clusterfuck. It was just so insane. Like they were just so demeaning towards like a lot of the nominees as well. Like there were just these like weird jokes where like my favorite part was whenever where they said, and I quote, animation is for children to enjoy and adults to endure. Like just the utter disrespect, like referring to it as a genre and not a medium. Like there was that. Like there were multiple like audience members, and not like the normal like heckler, like we're here to kind of like lightly rib each other. We're getting there.
Yeah, he did not hit him in the ribs.
Don't.
Yeah, we got it, boys.
You son of a bitch.
We got it.
Oh fuck! Hold on. Hold on. I can walk.
This bitch.
Okay. About to come over there and get jiggy with you. I love that I can use that as a threat now. I'll save that for when we get to Will Smith. Okay, so like, there's all that shit. Like they're like taking pot shots at like Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem about being Ricardos. Like it was just a lot of like not like in good taste humor all over the night. Like there was that one really weird bit with Regina Hall where like jokes about all the good looking guys at the Oscars are one thing, but like that whole she did. I'm talking to you like you saw it. She did this whole bit where she had a card. She's like, okay, we just have to do a little bit of like quick COVID testing for the following people, and then she just listed off a bunch of like really good looking guys. And I want to say one thing. This is not an insult to Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry was like he's a good looking guy, but like the majority of the actors she called up, which I just thought was just like really, the joke was weird. The fact that Tyler Perry got to get called up with like Simu Liu and Chalamet and like a bunch of like young bucks, right? Like young new hotness type guys, and Tyler Perry. I just like as gross as the bit was, there was a part of me that was like, you know what? Hell yeah. Like that middle-aged man is still a good-looking son of a gun. But like she calls him up, and like there was like another bit where she was like just like, oh, I need to make sure you're 18 type thing. And it was like, and like talking about like, okay, I'm gonna take you back and like test you for COVID. It was like, and again, and immediately, people were like, this would never fly if that was a male host, and it still doesn't fly because it was a woman telling the joke. It was a really gross set. And again, it was that very like, I'm just going to like the joke was, I am it was just, I'm an aggressively horny woman, and that's the joke, and now I'm going to like make all these dudes uncomfortable, and I don't know, I wasn't into it. It just didn't work for me. They did this thing where they went to the Motion Picture Academy Museum. And like the whole joke was like Wanda Sykes doesn't know anything about movies. and it was just her, like they're in the Wizard of Oz room, and she's like, "You have this whole room dedicated to Wizard of Oz, and you only have this one poster for the Wiz," and she didn't know what the ruby red slippers were, and she was arguing with the curator because they had like the model for the monster from Shape of Water. And she was like, "Oh yeah, that's Aquaman," and like that was like the whole joke, and it was just like, okay, so like fuck all these movies and fuck your movie, and your movie's not that good, and like, but also it was this weird like self-masturbatory thing where they would be like, and celebrating its 23rd anniversary, a reunion for Pulp Fiction, and then they had like Sam Jackson, Uma Thurman, and John Travolta present an award, and like they had to keep like bringing up how old every movie was, and they'd play random movie clips as bumpers between commercial breaks. Like they wanted to like the tone of the writing and the vibe the show was trying to project were dissonant. There was we want to do this like, oh, it's a celebration of film, and also this very irreverent, who gives a shit about the Oscars type thing, where they're trying so hard to be self-aware. And like, again, the writers, I'm telling you, one of the producers gave them a quota for how many like quote unquote trendy words they were supposed to sneak into the scripts. I'm telling you, like, if I'm wrong, I will be stunned. Another publicity stunt the Oscars engaged in is that they had two like viewer voted categories. One was the five stand up and cheer moments, and the other one was fan favorite movie of the year. Now, the stand up and cheer moments.
This is what you texted me about.
I was confused about. Because at first I'm like, oh, so is it going to be for like this year, or is this just like favorite movie moments of all time? You know, those like, what type moments. Number 5, Neo bullet time. And he does the thing where he bends over backwards and he's dodging the bullets from the Matrix. Number 4 was the I'm telling you from Dreamgirls. Okay. This is like really eclectic already. We went from The Matrix to Dreamgirls. I'm into it. Number 3, Avengers Assemble and Avengers Endgame. All right. This is exactly what, like, this moment is the textbook definition of this scene. Like stand up and cheer, go ape shit. Assemble. Ba, 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 da. Perfect. Number 2, the 3 Spider-Men in their like triple Spidey swing on their way to fight the Fearsome 5. Okay. So while they're getting ready to go into number 1, I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, so like only one of these is from the last year. So I'm thinking something like deeply iconic is coming. I'm expecting something from like one of the biggest movies of all time. I'm expecting I'm expecting like No, I Am Your Father, right? Like that's something that's where I'm thinking it has to be. And then I shit you not.
Technically speaking, if we're going off length, it is one of the biggest movies of all time.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Don't you start with me. After everything you said about that man, you don't even get to make that joke. You don't even get to, in bad faith, make that joke. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, let's see what it is. And I gasped and started cursing at the TV. Now, thankfully, I was at work watching the Oscars, and thankfully it was dead. It was just me and my girlfriend because she came in to visit, and I went apeshit. I could not believe what I was seeing. And it was the scene in the Snyder Cut where the Flash enters the Speed Force, and I was stunned shitless. I cannot believe. I take that back. I completely believe. And I'm utterly unsurprised by, and it is my fault I expected them to do something about the fact that they could have very easily made sure that the Snyder bots didn't completely hack this poll. But Snyder Cult gonna Snyder Cult, and they sent all their bots to spam vote for this movie moment that I don't think anyone even in the goddamn room at the Oscars was aware of. And then also speaking of the Snyder Cut and Justice League, Ezra Miller has been arrested for acting a fool in Hawaii, and also from 2 weeks ago, I forgot to mention that Tony Starr, star of The Boys as Homelander, also got arrested for acting a fool in New Zealand. So just quickies there. So yeah, and then they did fan favorite movies of 2021. And number 3 was Spider-Man No Way Home. Number 2 was the Amazon Cinderella movie. And number 1 was Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. So this time, the Snyder Cult and Amazon bought the vote, with armies of bots placing votes. Because again, and like, call me crazy, I have no idea how something like literally No Way Home is in the top 3 like highest grossing movies of all time at this point. I don't understand how that didn't win fan favorite, other than some type of malfeasance on the part of Amazon and the Snyder Cult. Like with that one.
Like, if you take into account the fact that, like, people that are into, I don't really care for the Oscars, right? I follow them because I comprehend the fact that it's important for these people's careers. Like, going forward, if an actor I know wins an award or a director wins an award, now any movie they're in gets to slap Academy Award winning so and so on that movie. And then
that's what we talked about last year whenever Chloe Zhao won for Nomad. And we're like, and just like we all knew, like all the Eternals marketing was, Academy Award winner director Chloe Zhao.
So, like with that in mind, I advertised to the general public very well, and so how would anyone who, I would have voted for No Way Home. It was the best movie. Not even close. And like, there's no way everyone knew about this vote to vote for it.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
It was. I can hear you. You went a little crazy there for a second, and now you're back, I think. Can you hear me?
Okay. You're kind of. I can hear you. The video's a little choppy.
Okay. Your video isn't choppy. Your audio was going crazy. So between the two of us, we'll be okay.
Yeah. You're back to having all your frames again. So.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you on that. And that part was ridiculous. And okay. Now we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. I want to say this as sincerely and not as coldly as I can. I hate when people say this. I hate when people say this because it's such like it's such a non-opinion, and I get like not everybody has to have an opinion and a take on everything. I don't give a shit about the discourse around the Will Smith slap. What I care about is that it was fucking hilarious.
You have no idea how happy it is for me to hear you say that.
Like, because here's the thing. There's so much to unpack with it, and so much of it is like a not our goddamn business type thing. Like, You can unpack how very publicly not great Will and Jada's marriage has been as of late, and like a lot of like the public discourse around that, and trying to figure out what like was Jada cheating? When did they become an open relationship? Will kind of laughed at the joke and then out of nowhere turned heel. I don't give a goddamn about that. What I will say is I don't think either Chris Rock nor the writers' room knew about Jada Pinkett's methapalation. And I think Alden, if I remember his tweet correctly, made a good point that just because a famous person says something publicly means that everybody knows. So I think it's very, very possible that G.I. Jane joke, be it written by one of the writers of the Oscars or if Chris Rock ad-libbed it or wrote it himself, I think it is very reasonable to say that they probably didn't know, because as anyone who is familiar with this podcast and me as a person is aware, I'm a big fucking Will Smith fan. Like, I go to bat for Wild Wild West, Will Smith fan. Okay. I love his movies. I love his music. I love Will Smith. I didn't know that Jada had a condition until Sunday night. That was news to me. And I worship the ground the dude walks on. So, again, I'm not necessarily going to go to bat for Chris Rock. I think the joke was in poor taste. But Chris Rock, the man who made a documentary about black women's hair, I don't think is out here to make jokes about Appalachia. I could be wrong. He could expand on what he was thinking on like all upon that moment in the future, and I will eat crow if he or whomever wrote it knowing whatever they did or didn't know. Do I think Will Smith should have gotten out of his seat and hit that man? Probably not. I don't care. It was funny as shit. Like, there comes a point, and again, Will is going through shit. He has not made it a secret that he has been seeking treatment, therapy, and all that stuff. And I think Will snapped that night. And his acceptance speech for Best Actor in a Leading Role was weird. And it's a situation where not that I think Will is on the level of Mr. Kanye West currently. However, to invoke one of Pete Davidson's critiques of Kanye from a long time ago, mental illness is not an excuse to be an asshole. And while you can certainly rationalize and go, okay, and this is something I'm a firm believer in, where you shouldn't make excuses, but understanding how you got here is very important, because it gives a lot of context to behavior. So I'm not going to excuse what Will did, but with the amount of shit that man has had to deal with in the public eye, him kind of snapping the way he did does not surprise me. And again, I'm not going to defend the behavior, but putting it in a box is helpful. And it is what it is. And again, I hate being the guy to say this. At this point, I'm fucking here for the memes. Like our group chat, there's a fuzzy in my face. Our group chat exploded when it happened. And Travis, I'm going to be honest with you. I was so hoping no one in that chat was going to say anything about it. Because I was going to hit you with knowing you hadn't seen the Oscars. And I don't know why I thought this wasn't going to be huge news. But for a moment, I was going to be like, all right, Travis, I'm going to hit you with 3 things, 2 of which actually happened. And then I was going to go, Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. Amy Schumer got rappelled down from the ceiling in a Spider-Man costume. And the cast of Encanto did a shitty new rendition of We Don't Talk About Bruno featuring Megan Thee Stallion. And then you'd guess, and I tell you, I lied to you. All three happened. Was a joke I had planned.
I really thought that middle one was a lie. You still got me. Congratulations. The news around the Will Smith thing was so big that no one was able to focus on the fact that the middle one happened. And I'm not gonna look it up.
Don't. But yeah, and there's a lot of stuff, good stuff, that got overshadowed because of the chaos with Will. I may be in the minority here. I quite like the In Memoriam this year. I think what they did with the In Memoriam this year was them explaining what their goal was last year and actually sticking the landing. Because last year's went by at this really fast clip and they just played like random Stevie Wonder music and it didn't fucking work. This year they had like this big, like, you know, like woo type, you know, gospel choir, right? And like they opened up with this, you know, eulogy for Sidney Poitier, and then they did, and like the bigger people who died, like they got like this little speech from like friends of theirs in the industry, and it was very much them trying not to do like the somber, like we are reeling because of their death, but a celebration of their life type thing, and I think that worked. There was the beautiful moment at the end of the show between Lady Gaga and Liza Minnelli. Beautiful, so sweet, so heartwarming. You know, the big wins, you know, for Coda, both Best Picture and for Best Supporting Actor. There was a lot of important stuff that happened at this Oscars that wasn't just Agent J beating up Marty from Madagascar. So, yeah, don't smack other people. But also, Travis, I'm going to be honest with you. Me personally, this slap is good for me. You want to know why? I heard Getting Jiggy with It twice on the radio yesterday.
So you will take any Will Smith publicity you can get. Do you think that would have happened if he just won Best Actor?
No.
Fair.
I would have heard it once. That second Jiggy was because Will Smith got fucking violent with someone. My favorite like tweet about it was someone saying, "I think it's time Will Smith starts swearing in his raps." Which yeah, I think it's about that time. Oh man, this shit was a fucking nightmare. Anyway, keeping it light, let's talk about Hogwarts Legacy, or as I like to call it, Harry Potter and the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. I was hoping you were gonna fucking laugh at that. God damn it. I've been charging that joke for 2 weeks. I've been charging that shitty joke for 2 weeks.
It's just upsetting, man. Okay, we got the state of play a week and a half ago, something like we didn't cover it last week, but I don't remember if it was because we didn't do news or it hadn't happened yet.
I think a little bit of both.
It was like right when we,
yeah,
it was over that weekend, I think.
Yeah,
this game is everything 11-year-old me has ever wanted. And that makes me so upset.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching the gameplay and thinking, this looks so cool. This looks incredible. You get to go all over the grounds and do this and this, and the main villain's a goblin. That just, it breaches the point to me, because I'm not the one that it's offending. It breaches the point of offensive into hilarious.
Yeah, I've seen I've seen this like one critique of it going around where it's like they can't not know what they're doing at this point.
Like, I went into work because we've joked about it at work a bunch, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's just no avoiding the fact that what she did to make her goblins, and the fact that the goblins are the
Are
supposedly
the
antagonist.
bankers. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't believe that this goblin that character they're showing is the actual antagonist of the game. Like, he's going to be the mini antagonist, and that's revealed there's someone working behind him, probably.
Which continues to lend itself to some really ugly
Yeah, like
stereotypes and tropes.
there is, and I'm not saying that to like defend it. I'm saying that, and you know that obviously, but like I'm saying that as there's just no good way around this.
No, not at all. And like it's so funny because a couple months ago, not funny, but like a couple months ago, there was that whole brouhaha when Jon Stewart was like, "This is kind of like really anti-Semitic," and I would have loved to have been a fly in the wall at Portkey Games the day that happened, where they went, "Oh, that's our whole game. Our whole game is this deeply anti-Semitic trope and cliche." And again, there is when these books were written, there's something to be said for a general media illiteracy planet Earth had in general, where we did not have the conversations about stereotype and trope, and we did not have the conversations about like where people were willing to unpack where harmful stereotypes and tropes came from. I think there's a lot of tropes like the Harry Potter goblin. There's a lot of characters like that, and to look at somebody and go, this is kind of anti-Semitic. Here's why. And then when you explain the origins of all this stuff, there are two types of people. I think there are people who are willing to like listen and go, here are the origins of this. Like, again, and now that I don't give J.K. Rowling any leniency anymore, but like, go all the way back, like back in the day when she was writing Sorcerer's Philosopher's Stone, when she created these goblins, do I think she was like giggling, rubbing her swastika armband? No.
One of my favorite interactions on the internet I've seen. It's an old one, right? Like before this really blew up in the past couple months.
Yeah.
Was the like it's kind of gross how the Harry Potter goblins are based on Jewish stereotypes, and someone replied with, "No, they're based on old folk tales from like old European folk tales of goblins." And what do you think those came from?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's that refusal to learn and understand, like Rowling is such an uncurious sack of shit. And the fact that you can't, that her and a lot of her sycophantic fans refuse to hear any criticism about this is so mind-boggling. Like, again, man, it's just right there. It's right fucking there. And it's jarring. And like I was saying, do I think that she set out to like attack the Jewish community when she created her goblins? No, of course not. Has she refused to acknowledge a problematic trope she engaged in as one of the most prolific authors of our time? Absolutely. There are plenty of other authors who have gone, oh shit, I didn't realize the harmful trope I was, adding to. Stephen King, and he has done the whole, and pardon my use of the term, but I think, it's the literary term, like the magic Negro thing, like Princess Weeks, YouTuber, I absolutely fucking love. She's great. Highly recommend. She did a whole video about that trope and Stephen King's use of it. And talking about, like white liberal guilt and stuff like that. Fascinating video. Stephen King writes that character a lot. And then when he became aware of it, went, oh shit, my bad. Literally stuff like this, all you need to do is have an oh shit, my bad. And while it might get critiqued in future analyzation of your work, at least you are this shit's killing me. At least you were adult enough to have it on the record that you acknowledged that you engaged in something fucked up. And again, like that video I told you about that Sean made could not have come out at a better time. It was almost like he was preparing us for this state of play.
Mm-hmm.
With the Hogwarts Legacy stuff. Again, man, every franchise like this is deeply problematic if you think about it for too long. And it was another thing I saw online talking about the alligator under the bed. And if you don't acknowledge the alligator under the bed, we as the reader and consumer of the story will not call attention to it because it breaks the fun. In the same way that Star Wars, everything is constant conflict. Your heroes are kind of fucked up too. It's Star Wars is a really ugly, there's ugly elements to Star Wars. The MCU, can't get away scot-free with a lot of its own Jewish erasure. It's not like a bunch of anti-Semitic stereotypes, but it's not great with how that handled that stuff either. And we have conversations about how it's different, but that's not relevant right now. It's so egregious. And the fact that one of the lead game developers is a former Gamergate content creator. Were you aware of that?
Nope.
Yeah. Let me get to
part about you do that. Yeah. I need to go get an allergy pill because something at this desk is kicking something up. I'll be right back.
You go do that. Let me use the Google machine here. Hogwarts Legacy. Just gonna go Gamergate. Gamergate never ended, folks. Yeah, so Hogwarts Legacy cursed with new controversy from pro Gamergate lead designer. This was back at the end of February, this article is. And again, this is something I wasn't aware of. Hogwarts Legacy may be the Harry Potter game fans have dreamed of for years, but its announcement was already reeling from J.K. Rowling's controversial comments on transgender people, with many declaring they will boycott the game, which to each their own with that. I'm not going to pass judgment on you if you play it, but I can't bring myself to do it. Initially, spotted and highlighted by Liam Robertson, Troy Levitt, lead designer, maintained a YouTube channel that is distinctly pro Gamergate, the incredibly controversial movement that claimed to be about ethics in game journalism, but was an elaborate shield to abuse women. One video is titled "In Defense of John Lasseter." Here, let me pull up. This is just a screenshot from the channel while that loads. Yeah, so it's a screen share here real quick for our video watchers. Pardon me. So we got Anita Sarkeesian video. Like I said, there's the Defense of John Lasseter one. Here's fun. In praise of cultural appropriation, why I'm opposed to net neutrality, it's okay to be a gamer, the injustice of social justice. Yeah. some great stuff here. I think I saw something about the 10 social justice commandments. Hello, I'm sure that's fun to watch. Are thought crimes becoming real? So yeah, that is one of the lead developers of the game. Now, let me double check because he may no longer be a part of the game. However, I believe their exit. Yeah, no, this person's still with it. There was another person who launched here. Okay, no, yeah. Hogwarts Legacy designer quits studio following YouTube controversy. And that was March of last year. But yeah, that was still only last year, and this game's development has been in motion for some time. So we had a gamer gator at the helm of a Harry Potter game for way longer than it should have taken to remove them. And the existence of the entirety of their channel speaks to a lack of remorse for a lot of those views. So yeah, Hogwarts Legacy is a hot fucking mess, and it went beyond the hot mess that any Harry Potter thing is. You know, any Harry Potter thing is going to come with the crushing weight of a conversation about J.K. Rowling. This one was like extra fucky because now it went into, and now the Jew goblins are having a rebellion and the strings are being pulled by the actual ultimate evil. And in defense of John Lasseter helped made the game. So, yeah, Hogwarts Legacy. Let's get one last big discussion type story out of the way before we kind of breeze through the rest of this. Travis, thoughts on the deleted scene from the Batman showing Barry Keoghan's Joker? Oh, you were muted. I am sorry. I couldn't see the little thingy.
Good. No one heard what I just said. I can take it all back. I must have forgot to unmute myself.
No, you're good. Anything. I didn't realize you were until I could see the little.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of praise for this scene and his performance, and this is not a knock on his performance or the writing of the scene. I think both are great. I don't like it.
Really?
I'm not a fan. We've talked about how the Batman was going to be the quintessential, like, grounded, gritty, darker than last time Batman, right? Like, and it is. It is. I've said it by all accounts, like my perfect Batman movie.
Yeah, same. I co-sign that.
I think we are at a point where the Joker needs to be treated like a superpowered villain. Because I think where this movie was perfect for me, I think we got that of the grounded Joker back when we, The Dark Knight gets put up on a pedestal because of Heath Ledger. But I think that his performance was spectacular, and I think the way they wrote a grounded Joker in that movie was spectacular. And ever since then, everyone's thought if we do live action Joker, that's what it's got to look like. That's what it's got to be like. No, it doesn't. He can just be a clown. It's okay. like he can be the crazy clown that kills people and doesn't have to talk low and slow like this. That's the thing. Like, because again, even the dialogue.
I will give you the voice is old hat. The voice is old hat, and I agree with you.
It's the same with the Batman voice, right? Like, Arpat doesn't do this. Even Affleck didn't really do that, like voice modulator and stuff. But that's the meme, and the fact that Arpat didn't do that for his Batman made the movie 10 times better. So
Yeah.
I don't know why. Holding in a burp. I don't know why they felt the need to make this Joker like a severe burn victim who talks like this for half the lines. And you can't understand what he's saying half the time because on top of that, it's through the microphone. And again, that's not anybody's, like, it's through the microphone. So it's muffled. And he's talking like this. Doing this Heath Ledger Joker bit. Like,
Yeah, I think my favorite parts of his performance vocally are whenever he like really he has like more of a high pitched voice, because there's moments where he's talking like this and he's kind of giggly
like,
and
his laugh's not bad.
and yeah,
like he has a good Joker laugh. I think if he spoke normally, it'd be fine. And again, not on him. I'm sure he was directed to talk like that.
Yeah.
And again, like the cultural impact of Heath Ledger's performance is something we'll never escape. But I think,
I think you're onto something there, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I do think there's an interesting conversation to be had about like how much, and that never occurred to me until right now, that one of the things I think Heath did was kind of permanently affect how actors go, what does the Joker sound like?
mm-hmm.
And I think that
because if you can't do a Mark Hamill impression,
as much as I wish someone just would,
yeah, like that is kind of the issue. Is if you can't do a Mark Hamill impression, you have to go somewhere else completely with it, or it's not going to sound right. You know?
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that there's become like a precedent where either the Joker sounds like this, or he's licking his lips and he's doing that. And like again, Barry brings a little bit more originality where where I said he has a high pitch, like you think they deserved it, or like there's like a high pitch, like he's almost like kind of falling into each word a little bit. That I liked a lot, but there was a little bit of that almost, my father was a drinker. Like it was a little. I will give you that. Because I fucking loved it, and
even even the look, right? Like he's this burn victim. That's, to me, the white of his skin is like it might be a chemical thing, but it looked like makeup a little bit. Like not all of his skin was bleached. His mouth was scarred up, which is why the perma smile. Like I just want a smiling clown that isn't Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, here's where I will go to bat for it. I believe they're trying to take point from the Brian Azzarello Arkham Asylum comic, where like Joker does have like the fucked up fingers, and like that's why he wears like the tuxedo gloves. And like there's a shot in that comic where like Joker's like putting on lipstick, and you see that like his lips and his gums are really fucked up. And that's why he puts a little extra something on there, because like it's kind of all messed up in here. So, well, yes, and I've said before, and again, going back to our last episode, like if the Snyder first DCEU did one thing right, it just embraced comic book shit. Like Joker just took an acid bath, and he just looked like that with the green hair and the bleached skin. Like tattoos notwithstanding, he just looked like that. And I long to just have a Joker who fucking looks like that. I did like the scene. I liked Barry's performance. And again, like if you juxtapose that scene with Barry's Joker's interaction with Riddler, like he's doing more of that high-pitched thing when he's, one day you're a clown and the next day, like it was more of the parts of the performance I liked. And I think I honed in on that, like, again, that kind of like high pitched, wiry, giggly guy. The reason I'm not super hard on it, because again, there are things I'm not super into, like you said, like the Heath Ledger nature of it, is that like this version of Batman, like this version of Catwoman, so on and so forth. It's not the origin story, but they aren't that character yet, and they're getting there. So I like the idea that that for all we know, this version of Joker could end up painted up to cover stuff up. Like I thought it was a great start that his hair was green. Like I was like, you know what? The hair's green. He looks ghastly pale. His mouth is all mutilated for the smile. Fine. People like the mouth being mutilated, whatever. So I was overall into it. I'm glad that the theatrical version of the movie did not include this scene. However, I hope that there is an extended cut of the movie on the Blu-ray, because I would like to see how it fits in. Like, I'm very curious what the flow of the movie feels like with this extra Joker scene. Because I do think saving the existence of Joker in this Gotham for the end was a better play.
I do too. Especially because this scene, I saw this on TikTok. This is not my original idea. Someone on TikTok, and I forget the guy's. He's a popular comics creator. And I do not remember his handle, and I feel really bad. But he talked about how this scene and the scene between Joker and Riddler is almost exactly ripped from Long Halloween, except the Joker in those scenes is Calendar Man.
It was Panda Red.
It was not Panda Red.
It was not. I saw Panda say something similar. I think I did.
Okay,
maybe I'm wrong. No, maybe you're right, and I'm conflating. I'm not sure. As you were saying,
I wouldn't be surprised if he brought it up, because he would also know this. But it was not Panda Red. But yeah, just that they could have leaned in a little more with that and just made it Calendar Man.
Yeah,
because Calendar Man is like in the list of like first catches for Batman usually.
Yeah.
So I think if they had gone that route and it could have worked more for me. I think as the Joker, it works without this scene better. Like leaving it for the end and being like he's already gone up with Joker once.
Because here's my thing: the big change you have to make is that it shouldn't be a surprise. If you're gonna do it in the middle of the movie, just have there be an offhanded line about how he's already beaten. Like I just have Gordon be like, "You already beat that clown before." Case just like him. Like make some comparison to Joker that puts the idea in Bruce's head to visit him. Like that's the route I would have gone. Like if you keep it in, don't try to do it as a big surprise. If you wait till the end, don't acknowledge the fact that Joker exists. Let the audience find out,
Yeah. I agree with that. And I don't want to sound like I'm just taking a shit all over the scene, because like I said, I don't think the performance is bad. It's just not for me.
No, I get what you're saying for sure.
Like I think I'm sticking to this. My favorite Joker performance of all time is Arkham Knight, right? To me that is peak Joker being, and granted it's because it's not actually, it's like Bruce's head Joker, so it's
I was gonna say that there's so much to unpack there. That it's not even actually him, it's how Bruce remembers him, which makes it even more
yeah. So to me, I just want to see that Batman Joker rapport, that Conroy and Hamill have in live action. You know, and I'm going to be waiting until I'm middle-aged to see it, but hopefully I can still get to see it.
Yeah. Like I said, I like it. I want to see where it goes from here. That's my whole stance on the Batman at this point is give me more. Moving right along here, a couple speed roundy things before we pack it up. Beyond all reason and anything I've ever said, Wakanda Forever wrapped filming this week. So maybe this movie will come out. It'll be out before Flash.
I mean, that's all we can hope for.
Yeah. Another big story for the Gotham Knights CW show. Misha Collins has been locked in to play one Harvey Dent.
I read the title. I don't hate it. I read the title of that you put in our show notes. It just says Misha Collins Two-Face, and I'm like, oh, that's a neat casting. I wonder what that's for. Gotham Knights, like game? Nope, not the game. Still forgot there was a CW show.
Yeah.
That I still probably
that reminds me. Suicide
watch.
Squad Kill the Justice League got delayed to next year. Let's throw that in there real quick.
Big sad.
Yeah, me too.
Do we still don't have a release day for, is it summer? June something for Gotham Knights?
October.
We have access to magic boxes. Hold on. Gotham Knights video game, October 25th. Okay.
I didn't want to say a date, but I knew it was October.
But so yeah, I don't hate this, and it makes sense, right? He's already in the CW's network, right?
Yeah.
The CW is the tween soap opera equivalent of the Hallmark Channel for holiday movies, right? Like they have their list of people that are on contract.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, would you like this project? We think it'd be cool for you to do, and then they get to go. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be like neat.
Get Padalecki on the horn, you know.
Pretty much, yeah. But
yeah. I mean, I'm not super familiar with Misha Collins. I know a lot of people love him and his work, so I'll give it a chance. Oh yes, Moon Knight
comes out
writer
tomorrow.
Sabir Pizzarda. Yes, that's going to be our wrap up. Real quick though, Marvel is developing a Nova series for Disney Plus with Moon Knight writer Sabir Pizzarda. So very excited for that. Very excited to finally get a Nova story. It does not seem like we know if we're getting Richard Rider Nova or Kid Nova as our lead. I really hope it's Richard Rider. I want to get both of them eventually, but I hope we start with Richard. And then going into that at time of upload and record, Moon Knight starts tomorrow. So you guys know what's up. Weekly episodes, we'll be talking about it. And then when it's done, we'll talk with Comic Book Cast about it. I'm very excited. As the usual, first reactions are good. Quite good. So yeah, very excited. Travis, I'm so excited for you. This is going to be a great few weeks for you.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take this wig off soon and reveal that I am actually Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, I haven't made it yet, but I got an idea for a meme where, like, you know how there's that shot we've seen in the trailers of Moon Knight like running away from Khonshu in the hallway. I'm just saying Moon Knight because I don't know which personality he's in at that point.
Yeah.
I think he's the British guy. I don't think he's Mark Spector in that, but whenever he's like running away from Khonshu, I really badly wanted to put your face over Oscar Isaac and then just have it put Cookie Cop over Khonshu.
You could also put Zack Snyder. Move for two, baby.
Son of a bitch. Oh, man. All right. I think that's all we got. Travis, where can the lovely people find you, homie?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram, still not doing anything of note. I might start tweeting more about Magic again soon because there's a lot going on with Magic the Gathering this year. We've got like 18 new sets coming out in like a month, and I hate it. But also I love it because they all look really cool. The next one is 1920s gangster themed. And a lot of the art is like
neat.
A lot of the art is reminiscent of like Batman the Animated Series.
That's cool as shit. No, dude, I hear you. You have Magic. I have my Roosevelt's button downs. I don't know if you saw or not, but last week was Marvel week.
No. Your poor wallet.
Dude, oh my God. It was so funny. So Tuesday they did a Spider-Man drop. And it was basically a black and a white version of the same Miles Morales design. A Venom shirt. A shirt similar to my Batman one, only it was Amazing Fantasy 15 all over it. With like art from inside of AM15. And then there was the one I got from that drop, which was blue, and it was like the Spider-Man pointing meme. And I thought I was done. And then they were doing another drop because Roosevelt's has a special collection called The Little Things, which it's just like tiny little patterns all over the shirt. It's super subtle. The shirt, my like navy blue shirt with like all the drinks on it that I wear on Wednesday nights at the bar. That's The Little Things shirt. So they did a Marvel Little Things, and I was like, I'm not probably gonna be super into this. They did one that was all arc reactors. I was like, that was like the first one they teased, and I was like, okay, I don't need this one. And then they did one that again was similar to my Batman one, where it was like Marvel, like different versions of the Marvel Comics logo with like comic art, like kind of blurred behind it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to be getting this is the only one I'm going to be getting from this drop. Like I just need the one. And then they added another Spider-Man shirt to the collection, which was like a bunch of webs all over the shirt and then tiny little Spider-Man masks all over it. And it was so funny because again, I showed Taylor. I was like, I think this is going to be the only one I get from The Little Things. And she said, you're fucking lying to yourself. And we both know that. And I was like, it's like the arc reactor one looks kind of goofy, and I don't know. Like, I don't think I need it. And she was like, yeah, you haven't seen the full collection yet. I'm like, I already got my Spider-Man shirt. I was like, I'll have one shirt to match both of my Marvel Vans. I'll be good. And then I saw the one with the Spider-Man mask, and I was like, son of a bitch. Oh, it could have been.
You said it, so they made it. They heard you. They were like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're only buying here.
Yeah. Roosevelt's, please sponsor us. But yeah, no, it was so funny. It was so funny. There was a lot of cool designs. They did one that was like all the Infinity Stones. Like there was like Infinity Stones all over it with like little Infinity Gauntlets. There was the arc reactor one, like I said. There was one that was like a bunch of silhouettes of Marvel heroes and villains, kind of like lit up with their primary color of their outfits. Like Loki was green, Wanda was red, Falcon was blue, or Cap was blue, Falcon was like a white red mix. It was a great drop. Like it all looked great. I'm super picky with like the designs I like. Contrary to what my friends may tell you with the size of my button down collection, I am picky. They just make a lot of stuff that's made exactly for me. Again, Roosevelt's, please sponsor us. So yeah, I went ham, and I lied to myself there on Thursday. I really thought I was done, and I wasn't. But here's the nice thing. Here's the nice thing I did to myself. Because of the shirts I got that week, plus the rewards I got for my birthday, when you put all those points together that I earned over the course of that last week, I basically have a free shirt coming. I racked up enough points that I can basically just pay for shipping on a shirt now. And that's all I have to worry about. But yeah, you guys can find me showing off all my new Felts that I ordered last week on Dark Jedi 2552 on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. I thought I was going to cough. Where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Give me $1.
Thank you to our $10 alumnus, Nick Johnson. And Alex Jones's ivermectin globalist QAnon adrenochrome person. Yeah, So Bad It's Good month starting soon on Movie Club. We're opening up with Halle Berry's Catwoman. So stay tuned for that. We might be doing the Versus Series tournament this week. I'm waiting to see. Okay, we're going to make plans on air. Travis, yes or no, are we doing Morbius on Thursday?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Then probably the Versus Series tournament on Thursday then. I wasn't sure either direction, and Morbius is going to be so much fun to watch whenever I see it, probably this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know how or when my eyeballs will ingest the terror that is, but I'll do my best.
I believe in you. But yeah, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you so much for joining us, and class dismissed.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar!